Hello, fellow YouTubers. Hello once again. In this video for today, I'm going to take back my comments about what I said about Kentucky. As I've witnessed with authority figures, and as it says in this book called The Complete Idiot's Guide to Verbal Self-Defense, healthy people do not like to enjoy seeing other people suffer. So I take back that comment, those bad comments I said about Kentucky. In the heat of a heated situation, you can tend to not accurately analyze the situation, and you tend to many times look at the negatives. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I hitchhiked to Wilmore, Kentucky, from Southern California, from the Mojave Desert, when I got to northern Lexington, Kentucky, this is the only single library where it has its own built-in food pantry. It's actually like a little mini grocery store, and not only will they give you more food than you could possibly eat. Once you try to eat down all that food, because they'll give you as much food as you want. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not of every single item, but I remember this one spot where they had these stacks and stacks of cans of tuna fish, and one of the people working there said, "Oh, you can take as many of those cans of tuna fish as you want." And then this was all this food was filled in two big bags of there were two big bags filled with food. And even after I ate as much of that down as I could, it was still more food than I could possibly even carry. And I was pretty strong at that point, even because this is just after I got out of jail in Riverside County. I went from there through Orange County back to LA County, then from there to my uncle's house in Ridgecrest, California, the Mojave Desert. I forgot where I was going with that, so I was pretty strong to begin with, but I could have still carried those two big bags of food, but I still could have also broken my back. You know what I'm saying? I kid you not, dude. No exaggeration at all. That stuff, if I would have carried it much further, even if I would have stopped periodically along the way, along the short distance back to the homeless shelter, the Hope Center, I probably would have broke my back. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so it was there's a book, what is it called? It might be that book called Winning with People. Or I'm sorry. I know for a fact it is this book. Okay, you know that book called The Secret? The same author that wrote that book wrote another one called The Power, which talks all about love. There's a book by, there's a song that is by an artist named Eric Pritz. It's called Generate. It says, all the love we generate, the only thing that carries me on. There's nothing that we need that it can't create. Okay, now another book that author wrote is one called The Magic, and I'm pretty sure it's in that book that says you don't really want to complain about stuff. Now that's kind of a half truth. Obviously, we do need to speak up about messed up things. Just do it in an assertive way. I was taught this in institutions, only in institutions, different aspects of assertiveness, and one institution, one time and place that I haven't in others. So there's being passive, aggressive, and then passive aggressive, and then the most ideal way, which means to state any concern in a non-intimidating way. That's if being nice at first works, and if that does not work, then obviously you are being too nice, as that scene in that movie Titanic went, where Rose said to that elevator operator, "I am through being nice, damn it," and then she just slams him against the wall and says, "Now take me down." Okay, so there is such a thing as being too nice, as the book called The Flip Side by Flip Flippin talks about. Anyways, Lord help me to remember where I was going with this. Oh man, I can't remember. Lord help me remember. So you just, even the Bible has this story of people that was like, the people in Egypt were like in the wilderness for like 40 years, or in the desert, or something to that effect, and they complained to God, and then like God had some of these people bitten by venomous snakes or something like that, but they were probably complaining in a harsh way. Okay, there's a reason why you have to file what's called complaints with some places sometimes. Okay, but anyway, so main point is, in the heat of situations, in the heat of heated situations, you can tend to not accurately interpret the situation and not see the bigger picture. If it wasn't for that positive thing, and I'll tell you this right now, as I mentioned, I think in another video or two of mine, usually the more warm and welcoming a person or people are, usually the more that they have to offer. This is the only region in the entire U.S. And I've found some, I've seen some Slavic women in San Francisco, Northern California, where the girls are warm. I've seen some of these women in LA, New York City, some small town in the northwest corner of Ohio, by the Indiana border, when I left the keys cranked over in my $200 Honda Civic two-door hatchback, the battery went dead, and I noticed, like, I went into town to get some help, and I met this one family. The dad was Ukrainian. I could tell that by how he looked in the face. When I was in Akron, Ohio, with that same car, before that time, I witnessed somebody that was of Ukrainian descent, just like that male dude in that other Ohio town. But in that region in Kentucky, this is the only region where I have met this many Slavic women, this many Ukrainian women, in one single area, way more by comparison than those other regions I mentioned. Okay, because in Ohio, I believe, from what I understand, there have been a fair share of people that settled there from the Ukraine way back in the day. But in this part of this part of Kentucky, remember that one video talking about how I've been around the block a few times, and you can go to one area because you looked up something about it, and then when you go there, you find something totally the opposite. One thing I forgot to mention is, in Louisville, Kentucky, I believe it is, some town in Kentucky, they have that Kentucky Derby, and there's thoroughbred horses that race there, and then you find thoroughbred people like those Ukrainian people, and then you actually find I don't think I mentioned this as mentioned in that previous video about noticing all these different things going around the block a few times. I've met people that were a level of weirdness looking that I've never even seen before. Not to say that anybody's any better or worse than anybody else, but and I have my slightly misaligned teeth, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really no better or worse than anybody else as it goes with anybody else. But so that's one thing you wouldn't suspect in a thoroughbred region is people that look really weird. But anyways, I discovered this music melody by somebody named Alex Morph. Morph is it has a dot at every letter of that acronym, Alex Morph, and then you type in the word Kiev, K-I-E-V, for Kiev, Ukraine. This is the only single melody that I've ever discovered and witnessed, where I've heard when people sing on this song, welcome, and Alex Morph, I don't believe he's from any of those Slavic countries. I'm pretty sure, because you can see this dude while they're playing that those lyrics, welcome. His lips are not moving, so he's not singing that. And I'm pretty sure that it is a Ukrainian male that's singing this. Because one thing I've learned through my travels, as I mentioned in another previous video or so of mine, is the more warm and welcoming people are, the more they have stuff to offer. Again, that's the only region I've ever been to where not, because I've been to many different shelters, food pantries, soup kitchens, libraries. I've been traveling here and there for 22 years. I've been to every single state except for Hawaii. This is the only single library I've ever seen in my entire life where they have like a mini grocery store where you can get as much food as you can possibly eat, and then it's still more than you can possibly carry. Okay, we're gonna continue this here in another video. We want to cut this off right now, so we make sure not to run out of time. We'll be back here in a second. Be back in a bit. Bye for now.